Hi everyone and welcome back. In this lesson, we will learn useful expressions we can use when we want to get a refund for something we have paid for. As always, we will begin with the model dialogue, and afterwards we will explain all the expressions in detail. Can I get a refund for this coat, please? Of course. Do you have the receipt? Yes, here's the receipt. Okay, great. We have issued a refund. First, when we take an item of clothing back to the store to get a refund, we can say this question. Can I get a refund for this coat, please? Can I get a refund for this coat, please? In this question, we use the structure can I get, and we use this structure to make requests. And the request we make is to get a refund. Refund is when you get your money back by returning the product that you bought. After this part, we can say what we want a refund for by adding for plus noun. And in this question, we have for this coat. Lastly, we add please at the end to make this question polite. Let's take a look at a few other example questions. Can I get a refund for this shirt, please? Can I get a refund for these shorts, please? Can I get a refund for these shoes, please? Okay, so let's now do a speaking practice of these questions. Can I get a refund for this coat, please? Can I get a refund for this shirt, please? Can I get a refund for these shorts, please? Can I get a refund for these shoes, please? Great job, well done. Once you ask for a refund, the store worker will ask for a proof of purchase, and this is usually the receipt, the paper document you get after you have paid for something. And this question is this. Of course, do you have the receipt? Of course, do you have the receipt? First, of course, is a strong form of yes, so the store worker may say this to say that you can get a refund. And after this, to ask whether you have the receipt, the store worker can ask this question. Do you have the receipt? When you pronounce the word receipt, P is silent. So we say receipt, receipt. Let's practice saying these sentences. Of course. Do you have the receipt? Of course. Do you have the receipt? Great job, well done. The next part of this exchange is handing over the receipt to the shop worker. When you hand over, as in give something to someone, you can say this. Yes, here's the receipt. Yes, here's the receipt. First, to answer the shop worker's question about having the receipt, we can say yes. Then as we give the receipt to the shop worker, we can say here's and then add the noun that we are giving. And this structure can be used in many different situations when we are giving something to someone. So if we borrowed a friend's pen and we want to give the pen back, as we give the pen back to a friend, we can say, here's your pen. Here's your pen. Let's practice saying this sentence. Yes, here's the receipt. Yes, here's the receipt. That was great, well done. Finally, once you have handed over the receipt, the shop worker may also ask you to see the card used to buy the items in the receipt. And once the refund has been completed, the worker might say this. Okay, great, we have issued a refund. Okay, great, we have issued a refund. The first part of this line, okay, great, is to tell the customer that the process has been completed without any trouble. Then we say the second sentence to explain what has been done. When the shop worker wants to tell the customer that the shop has given the customer a refund, they will use the verb issue with the noun refund. The verb issue is used to say that something is given to someone officially. So issue can be used in many situations to talk about officially giving something to someone. For example, if the company gives a credit card to a senior manager, the company may tell him or her, "We will issue a corporate credit card." We will issue a corporate credit card. And issue here simply means to give something officially. Okay, so with that in mind, let's now do a speaking practice of this sentence. Okay, great. We have issued a refund. Okay, great. We have issued a refund. Excellent job, well done. Let's listen to the whole dialogue again. Can I get a refund for this coat, please? Of course. Do you have the receipt? Yes, here's the receipt. Okay, great. We have issued a refund. Okay, so let's practice this dialogue. We will do 2 speaking practices and all the lines will be on the screen. So when it's your turn, please read the line and participate in the dialogue. Let's begin. Can I get a refund for this coat, please? Yes, here's the receipt. Of course. Do you have the receipt? Okay, great. We have issued a refund. Great effort today. Well done. Okay, so in this lesson, we learned useful expressions we can use when we want to get a refund from a clothing store. The next lesson is the speaking drill lesson, and I will see you soon again in the lesson after that. Bye-bye.